Hello and welcome. I'm Sandra Siepak. This is Our Ventura TV. Today, we would like to welcome a very special guest to the show. It is Ventura Unified School District Superintendent David Creswell. David, thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Absolutely.
We have so much to talk about, so let's get started.
Great.
We would like you to tell us a little bit about your very first year as superintendent here at Ventura Unified and all the great things that you're doing.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good.
This first year has been like no other that I've ever had.
Okay.
I've been in education for about 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just been incredible positive things and joys,
Right.
and then some challenges that I think this entire community's gone through that we hope are only once in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been good. I started August 1st, hit the ground running,
Mm-hmm.
and was able to build relationships fairly quickly with just a wonderful staff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, some of the challenges were, of course, going through the Thomas Fire, which was tough on the school district, tough on the community.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen a lot of good things that have come from that. And then just getting to know the district, really spending the first year listening and trying to find out what the district stands for, where they want to be, what they're
Sure.
proud of,
Yeah.
what they want to improve, those
Okay.
types of things. So
Good.
it's been nonstop. It's been nonstop. Absolutely. A lot of good things going on.
Well, I know as your first year here as superintendent, there have been a lot of challenges. And of course, as you mentioned, the Thomas Fire was certainly one of the biggest ones I think that you've encountered, with kids being displaced and children out of school and parents concerned about that as well. How did you handle that specifically for that duration of the kids missing school?
Yeah, the Thomas Fire, of course, was a challenge. There was an added challenge in that I was new.
Right.
And a lot of getting through any type of crisis are the relationships that you have, the communication that you have, that I did not have
Sure.
being new to the community.
Yeah.
So first of all, I had a board that was incredibly trusting of me.
Okay.
They basically hand over the keys to the district to me,
Yeah.
a relative stranger.
Okay.
And there was a ton of trust on their part to move forward. So kind of being old school and being in education for so long, we just have that mindset that school never stops.
Right.
If there's a challenge, we get through it and school's up the next day.
Okay.
And so to wrap our minds around the magnitude of the Thomas Fire and it probably took 3 or 4 days to just get past, well, this is gonna blow through and we'll be back to school. The magnitude was such that we really had to change our mindset and really start thinking about the long haul and what it's gonna take to get through it. School was out for a total of 5 weeks, 3 weeks of instruction, 2 weeks of winter break. And so that was incredibly challenging. I think the silver lining was it enabled me to build relationships, meet people, and connect on a very real level very quickly.
Right.
I quickly developed an amazing relationship with the chief of police, with the chief of fire,
That's right.
with our board members, with city council, with
Okay.
community, with the chamber, a number of the amazing groups that were going through the same challenges. So it was a trying time.
Right.
And I had a very tight group of people that met constantly every day throughout the fire, multiple times, texting 24/7, always trying to assess where we were at, what we needed to do, what the next steps were.
And when something like that strikes, a disaster like that strikes, and it hits the school system, which it did, I'm sure you had many concerns from parents. Probably not the kids, they probably liked being off for a little bit, but the parents probably had some major concerns about the interruption of education for their kids. What do you say to them?
Well, we had challenges on both sides from the parents.
Okay.
There were parents that really needed to get their kids back in
Sure,
school.
right.
They had challenges with work and daycare and scheduling. And then there were parents that very much did not want to put their kids back in school until
Okay.
things were settled, things were cleaned, we were ready to go again.
Right.
And so there was a lot of pressure both ways to not only continue to suspend school, but also to get school in place as soon
Okay.
as possible.
And now we're looking at the time has passed since this has happened, but did that really cause any concern for school ending later, or did you have to make up that time, or what happened with the schedule?
No, there was a lot of lessons learned from the
Okay.
Thomas Fire. And one of the lessons was we, in the back of our mind, kept thinking once we get schools back in shape and safe and students back,
Okay.
our problems are over.
Right.
Of course, that wasn't necessarily true. We had a whole new set of challenges once the fire was over. We had to make up a lot of lost time.
Right.
We had, again, 3 weeks of instruction taken out of our first semester.
Okay.
So we made the decision to move the semester back into the second semester so that we could finish up
Okay.
first. And then we had the challenges of doing a shortened second semester.
Okay.
So pacing guides and those types of schedules and calendar events, we had to adjust.
That's not easy.
No, not easy. Again, the silver lining was our students, our parents, our staff, our
Right.
community was incredibly resilient.
Right.
And we were planning for the worst and hoping for the best, and it was amazingly smooth
Right.
to get back in school again.
What a way for you to spend your first year. I bet you had no idea that was ever going to happen.
It was challenging. Again, I think another lesson learned was in a time of crisis,
Yes.
it always brings clarity.
Yes.
So some of the things that we take our time with that are not very important,
Right.
they tend to fall away
Okay.
because we're focused on safety, getting school back in session,
Good.
keeping track, meeting needs of people that suffered incredible loss.
Right.
And so that clarity was very powerful and really helped identify where we needed to go, what we needed to do.
Right. And I commend you for handling that with such grace and certainly all the work that you did to make that happen. I know that's not an easy task.
It wasn't, but I stepped into just, again, an amazing team, an amazing organization. One of the things that I learned personally was I'm kind of a roll up your sleeves, hands-on
Good.
person. I'm
That's
not a delegator.
Right.
And I was doing way too much.
Yeah.
And about the third day, my deputy superintendent said, you have to use us.
Okay.
You have to give us more. We're here to help. And so I took a deep breath and took him at his word.
That's good.
And people stepped up and just took care of so much and probably did a better job than I could have. So the team is what, and the relationships
Really
are what got
carried
us
through
Absolutely.
and made a difference. That's good to hear.
Absolutely.
That's good. Let's talk a little bit about school safety. It is such a hot button topic throughout the nation right now, for parents, for kids, for educators. I know that safety is an important issue for so many people. Here at Ventura Unified, I'm sure you are also concerned about it, and I just wanted you to share some of your thoughts about safety concerns here at the schools.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the directions, some of the places we're going as a nation are just alarming with,
Yes.
with what's going on.
Yes.
And it's at the forefront of our minds. Parents, staff, the community is constantly asking me, what are we doing in the way of safety? And it's kind of a frustrating answer because
Yeah.
on one hand, we're doing everything that we can.
Okay.
On the other hand, there's so much more that we'd like to do that is just simply based on funding. So we control all the variables that we can control.
Okay.
So we're doing trainings, we're doing drills, we're doing assessments of our sites. A big question is we have open campuses. Most all public schools in this state and this nation are. That's the philosophy that they were
Right.
built on.
Right.
You want to be open to the community. At the same time, now with changes, we want to talk about fencing and points of entry and security
Okay.
that have a huge price tag. And so it's something that we're in the stages of reviewing and planning for.
Okay.
But it'll be an interesting change and an unfortunate one.
Yeah.
I've had the experience to visit schools that were high security, felt like penitentiaries.
Right.
It was a whole different feeling walking on and
is.
off the campus.
Yes.
And not in a positive way.
And I don't know if that's really, I know it's probably a good thing in some senses, but kids would feel very concerned about that too. Like you said, it's more of a penitentiary prison type feel going through this type of schoolyard every day. And I know it's for their best interest, but yet there could be a concern about that.
No, it's a delicate balance. It really is. And I think we have to find some sort of middle ground
Okay.
where we're not quite as open maybe as we'd always been, but
Sure.
not quite as closed down as the other extreme.
Right.
And so we're constantly reviewing those things.
Okay. Have you had any incidents that you're concerned about at any of the 27 schools that you oversee?
You know, occasionally this district, like every other district I'm familiar with, occasionally we have lockdowns.
Okay.
Most of the time they're as a precaution.
Okay.
We do that to keep kids safe while we investigate, and we work with Ventura Police Department to investigate.
Okay.
Fortunately, our lockdowns are typically a precaution, and that's it.
All right.
But we have a long way to go in making sure that we're doing those properly and then communicating what's
Right.
going on, which is incredibly difficult.
Right. And do you hear from parents a lot about safety concerns?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Inside the organization and outside, it is one of our top priorities.
And I think, what about kids? Do they give you a little bit more feedback than you've seen in the past?
Yeah, I think you know, this is the first year we've kind of had the advent of students after some of the events nationally,
Yes.
voicing their concerns. We've had a couple of, I'd say, organized walkouts by students, not by
Okay.
staff, and they've conducted. I'm very proud of the way they've conducted themselves, but they're starting to find their voice and saying, you know, and the message is, you know, we want to be safe and we want to do everything we can, and we want everyone else to do what they can
Right.
to ensure our safety, and we support the parents and the students and everyone in the priority of keeping our students safe.
Okay, good.
We get a lot of feedback from all across the spectrum,
Okay.
from people that would really like teachers to be armed, and gates and security, to the other extreme of, we kind of like, you know, the way things are, the open nature of schools, and again, it's that art of finding the balance.
Right.
What's best for the students.
And
But
do you hear from teachers about safety
absolutely.
concerns? And
Yep.
are they of the opinion that this is the way to go? Would they like to continue having an open campus, or do they feel more like they would feel more secure with a closed campus?
Yeah, good question. Again, we hear from all stakeholders, and all of them represent the whole spectrum.
Okay.
By and large, our teachers and our support staff are committed to student safety and student instruction. That's their highest priority.
Okay.
And so they're all very open to giving input and being part of the process and part of the solution.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that your leadership style really focuses on building service and good relationships within the district. Being that this is your first year as superintendent, how do you feel those relationships are going, and how are they building for you?
Yeah, very well. I mean, I think
Good.
one of the things that impacted me initially coming here
Okay.
was the community pride. The pride of the people in this city,
Yes.
the pride of the people in the school system. It's amazing to see generations at sporting events and at school events.
Sure.
Grandparents supporting parents who are supporting their kids.
That's right.
And so the communication, the relationships, it's been a natural fit for me.
Okay.
You know, the connections that we have, relationships, communication are really high priority for me. My leadership style is participative. I want collaboration. My leadership style is also that of being a servant leader.
Yeah.
And
that's
this
good.
community, the way that they step up and meet the needs of people and step in when there's a crisis as opposed to pulling back, has been incredibly encouraging, to say the least. So that's been a real highlight.
And that's
coming
good to hear.
Ventura.
That's good that people are kind of rallying around you and giving you that support, being
Yeah.
that this is your first year. And
I want to
good.
add that, you know, Ventura, whether you know it or not, was in the spotlight with the fire. And I had a
Yes.
lot of superintendents from districts all across the state
Oh, sure.
and other states weighing in and communicating. And one of the incredible bits of feedback that I continue to get was people were amazed at the way this community came together.
it did. It
At
did.
the way we had just incredible need and loss, but the amount of remedy and help and you know, effort and caring of everyone else towards those in need outweighed the need, and
Right.
that's really rare.
Well, we're going to continue our conversation, and I want to thank you so much for joining us today on the show.
Absolutely.
We will have parents and kids and more interested parties that want to know more about Ventura Unified to go to the district website and get more information there.
Absolutely. Our website is the spot to go.
That's good.
A lot of information, and we're constantly working on it and updating it. So yeah,
Very
always
good.
encourage people to
Well,
do
thank
that.
you so much, Superintendent David Creswell. You've been a complete, great information giver today on our show, and we are so happy that you joined us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Very good. Again, thanks for all the information for so many parents and so many kids and teachers too. Thanks. And thank you for joining us today on our show. We welcome you joining us next time on Our Ventura TV. I'm Sandra Siepak. Bye, everyone.